Hello and welcome to Tea and Tice, the Great British Wrestling podcast for Great British Wrestling. Although today, this week, we're going to be focusing really on the European wrestling scene and WXW 16 Carat Gold weekend. And for that, I have one of the biggest German wrestling fans I know on Twitter, Mr. Big Dan. Not Big Daddy Dan, but Big Dan.
Hello, nice to meet you, everyone. Glad to be here.
And of course, yeah, you do work some writing every now and then for Wrestletalk TV here in the UK, and you host your own podcast, the Nerd Podcast. Just bring it.
That is correct. Wrestletalk.com. I do the features on there, like occasionally, like once a week or every second week. And it's like a bunch of different topics from around the world. And I do Just Bring It, the Nerd Podcast, of course, which is like a passion project of mine, alongside with Volker, who's the main host, and Torsten. And we are analyzing almost every single WXW show. We are doing interviews and we are really on top of that.
Excellent. And of course, you were, of course, there live this weekend for it all. I had to sit at home and watch it live for the first time. WXW when live on their WXW Now 2.0, available on their YouTube channel. Very easy to join. Just click a button. 9.99 a month, which is fantastic value. They really do put on a show pretty much every month. And then, of course, so many We Love Wrestling shows as well. So well worth the package, and other European promotions on there as well. I think the last one I saw was SAJ Wrestling, one of my favorite promotions out of Italy, because it's Squash a Jobber, which is just the greatest name for a wrestling promotion. I know their Twin Sanity show was available on WXW Now recently. Featured a lot of Brit Wres stars. But today, as I say, we're going to be talking about WXW. We're going to be talking about 16 Carat. Now, before a lot of the stars arrived in Germany, they did do a very brief stopover here in the UK for the show Diamond Dust. That saw guys like El Hijo, Dr. Wagner Jr., Galeno Del Mar, Leo Rush, Masato Tanaka all make stop here in the UK for big matches. Masato Tanaka took Luke Jacobs in an ECW style matchup. Kid Lycos and Leo Rush had the main event for the Progress Championship. Of course, Kid Lycos, the new Progress world title holder. Great match against Leo Rush before he went out there. Galeno Del Mar suffered a defeat to Tate Mayfair's, and Dr. Wagner Jr. actually took on Kid Lycos too in a very, very interesting matchup because Kid Lycos is so small and Dr. Wagner Jr. is so bloody big.
He is
But
huge.
and then of course before 16 Carat gets off proper, there is Inner Circle. So do you want to talk about what Inner Circle is for WXW?
Inner Circle is basically the kickoff to the entire weekend, but it doesn't happen in Oberhausen at the Turbinenhalle. It happens in their academy, their West Side Extreme Wrestling Academy or dojo or whatever you want to call it, in Gelsenkirchen, which is right next to Oberhausen, basically. And we there's a small room, a very hot room, and it's there's not a lot of oxygen in there, but just enough so you can enjoy the show. And it's amazing. Everyone is together in a closed room. The excitement is real. The excitement is really there. It's very loud in there, but it's very fun. And you do not know who is going to come out that curtain. It's a surprise. No matches are announced. No names are announced. You are in for a treat there, and it's a perfect kickoff to the weekend. And we had a bunch of matches on there. I probably won't go into everything because there's so much, but there were matches like Tatsuya Hanami and Shigehiro Irie against Danny Frey and Derek Neal, for example, which was awesome. Then there was Peter Tihani with Jake Crane, which was amazing. And my personal favorite, which was also the main event, a tag team match. Yuichi and Ilya Bloom teamed together against One Cold Madness and Thomas Shire. And that match was incredible. It was meat madness, if you will. It was absolutely amazing. And once Inner Circle is out, I believe it is out since yesterday, yes. Everyone should check that out on WXW now because that was absolutely my favorite match of that event and one of my favorite matches of the weekend because it was just big dudes doing big things.
That's it. Big meaty slaps. I was very, very impressed with Manders throughout the weekend. He put on some great matches. We'll see how far he gets down in just a little while, see how we get on. Of course, Peter Tahani is my wife's favorite wrestler. The t-shirt I have up there is actually her t-shirt, not my t-shirt. And Jacob Grainer from Poland, is that right?
Jacob Crane is from Poland, yes, and he's been with WXW for a long time now. I believe it's over 2 years. Last year he had the 16 body slams, where I got nothing to do with that. No, I got something to do with it, but not so much. It's basically all Psycho Mike. I need to address that. And yeah, he's been doing lots of great work. He's gotten so far and he's leaving us. We are probably going to talk about it later on, but he's leaving WXW for the moment. But he was great in that match at Inner Circle.
That's excellent to hear. He's switched personalities now because he was a very much kind of like somewhat of a comedy heel with Ava, but he's turned into a bit of a fan favorite as of late. Well, not fan favorite, but he's becoming more likable.
Yeah, I believe the entrance theme plays a great part in that as well. It's not just that he got more charismatic in the ring and even better than he was before. That entrance theme that basically was given to him by Ava, it's the best theme song in all of WXW. It's absolutely amazing. You cannot boo this, man. You just gotta get up and dance. And he asked me at Inner Circle, it might even be on tape, why are you jumping? I had to say, because I'm having fun. I'm sorry. It was too good. It was too much fun. And he's so great at working with the crowd.
Mm.
He's probably one of the best in WXW doing that. He's amazing.
Very thick lad as well. Very well,
Oh
very,
yeah,
very stocky.
he is in his mass phase. He's putting on some great weight right now, like in a good way. He's like really bulking up and he's probably trying to be like the next big meaty man.
Absolutely. I'd like to see him come over to the UK a bit more. So, UK promoters out there, he is a fantastic talent. When he's back from his trip that we'll talk about a little bit later, you'll see why. Let's get on to the night one. I mean, it was 7 shows over 4 days, but it's 6 shows over 3 days for the actual main weekend because the inner circle's quite a limited ticket spread as well because it's such a much smaller, more impact.
Yeah, it was sold out in November, I believe. So
That's amazing for a promotion. But after 23 years, because WXW, of course, just celebrated their 23rd anniversary last year. So, yeah, you can certainly see why they've become so popular over their time. But anyway, right, night one kicked off with Manders and Luke Jacobs. And these two are a young prototypes for Terry Gordy and Stan Hansen. One day these guys will go on to do something like that for all Japan Pro Wrestling because they're made for it, don't you think?
yeah, they're made for it. This is like a great compliment for them. But I can really agree with you there because they are so amazingly gifted talents. It's amazing. I wasn't aware of one called Manners before the World Tag Team Festival. But he impressed me so much, and I'm so glad he was one of the first two guys to be signed on to the 16 Carat tournament and
Mm,
announced. The other one was, of course, his opponent, Luke Jacobs. So they put the two first ones against each other here, and man, it was the first match of the night, or apart from the four-way dance, of course, it was the first main card match of the night, and you could see there was a great plan here. They knew this was the first time they go live on YouTube, live ever in the history of 16 Karat Gold, and they put these matches back to back against each other, and they started with a big meaty match with great technical wrestling in between, and then they had different styles per match. So
mm.
they were really presenting this is 16 karat and this is the fullest tournament you can expect. There's something for everyone. And that's what they did. And the one called Manners, Luke Jacobs was was the first best kickoff they could have chosen.
Yeah, they absolutely slapped them. There was actually more wrestling than I was expecting as well between the two of them. They actually showed off because Luke Jacobs is a fantastic wrestler, as is Manders. They're mostly known for their meaty chops and just being brawlers, but they can really get down and wrestle when they want to. And that, I really think you're right. It was such a great opening match. You got the crowd hot straight away. And then to mix it up completely, they bring out a Gil Blanc versus Leo Rush, which was, for me. I thought this match was maybe a little bit better. It was so exciting. The speed, the quickness of Leo, the agility of Gil Blanc. Huge win for Blanc as well to pin Leo Rush clean in the ring. An amazing talent, just back from a trip in All Japan Pro Wrestling. Uh, what have you thought of it? I know you're a big fan of Gil Blanc.
Yeah, I am. I became a big fan because I'm not really a lucha guy, but this guy just won me over in the last couple of months. He's so amazing. He went to Big Japan as well,
Mm,
and he had that match with Mustafa Ali in APC a couple of months ago, and I believe that was his big star-making performance.
yeah.
And he's absolutely amazing. He's got so much in-ring charisma, and he's got the crowd behind him normally. Not once this weekend that didn't happen, but we're gonna talk about that later. But
Yeah.
the match was great. I'm just not that much of a Leo Rush fan. I believe he's really past his prime. All of his start stopping in and out of the business really hurt him. I'm not like it started with the entrance. I was already like, oh my God, no, that this is not going to be for me. Of course, he's still a skilled wrestler. I'm not going to take that away from him at all. But he's not my cup of tea anymore. It's like he's for me is like really I don't want to say washed, but it's getting there for me. Like he's not in his prime anymore, and it feels like he doesn't want to be there 100% anymore. There are still glimpses of the old
Mm,
Leo Rush, like the very old Leo Rush, like before WBE, before everything happened. That Leo Rush that also competed in WXW. That's still there sometimes, but in most cases, it feels like he's just playing a thing, and then the match is over. And he was really lucky to have Aigleblond as his opponent because Aigleblond is gonna punish you and beat you to a great match. Just how it is.
yeah, Blanc's had some amazing matches. His rivalry with Fennec was absolutely excellent. His tag team with Senza Volta, formerly Senza Volta, now Fennec Jr., was phenomenal. That because it was the World Tag Team Festival, which I went to, where Senza Volta got unmasked for that first time, and which was for me one of the best moments I've ever seen live in wrestling when he had the mask ripped off, but rather than just curling up in a ball like most luchadors do, Senza Volta he just stood up and it was one of my favorite moments in wrestling, to be honest. Well, for a live moment that I've been to, and I really enjoyed that World Tag Team Festival. Blanc is going to be in the UK soon as well. He's going to be part of another tournament here in the UK, part of North Wrestling, who did a show last year with WXW. They run the North NCL Cup, an 8-man tournament that features, I think it's a 15-minute time limit. You only get 5 seconds outside the ring. If the time limit is reached, you then have no rope breaks. It's a really
Interesting.
interesting concept in the tournament. It worked really well last year. He's going to be competing alongside some really young talent out of the UK. Henry Faust, who I'm a big fan of, and I'm sure you would be if you see him. Really, WXW. Look at Henry Faust; like he'll fit right in. Miles Kamen, who recently had a standout performance against Luke Jacobs and Nathan Cruz. Luke Jacobs, he had the match at Progress with Nathan Cruz. It was a new generation wrestling here in the UK. Big standout matches. Hardman Dan, a young man who's just coming out of the Yorkshire area, part of a unit called Yorkshire Tough. And then there's a big US indie star in Jordan Oliver, is also going to be part of that tournament. Definitely would love to see Oliver and Blanc mix it up.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, that would be great. And if the matchmakers are listening, Henry Fouts versus Blanc as well, because I think that will be an excellent match. Did you see the North WXW show on now?
I did. It's a long time ago, so I don't remember everything about it, but I remember, of course, Rory Coyle versus Robert Dreisker because
Mm.
I always wanted to see that match, and I finally got it on that show.
I remember when I first talked about it because they're kind of like a Vader and McFoley kind of matchup. I'd really like to see him do it again in a proper street fight fashion because I think the two of them could have a really good match.
I mean, he's still free for Tag Fest, Robert Dreisker is. We don't know what's going on until then, so and there's still like probably different shows in between a lot. So just bring over Rory Cole to Germany and mix it up again.
And there was a lot of North wrestling guys over at WXW this weekend. I know the camera crew, I believe, went out there to work with the WXW guys to see how they do things. Liam Slater, who we'll talk about later, was part of it, a big part of North wrestling. But back to 16 Carat we go. Uh, I just want to say, actually, on that North show, there was a great tag team match between Crash Boat and Senza Volta and Gil Blanc that I really, really enjoyed watching when I was there live. So definitely a match worth checking out on the WXW Now service. We then got Lawrence Roman versus Oscar, our first kind of mismatch competitors against each other.
Yeah, I think you might have jumped one match. There was one before.
Which which one was before that one?
The Stephanie Mays and Icarus one.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Stephanie Mays and Icarus. I love Stephanie Mays. I think she put in a good performance overall in the tournament. Masha Slamovic's run last year might have been a little bit better. Her match against Dreisker anniversary, I talked about it last week. Amazing match. But yeah, I think she did very well for herself during this tournament. I think she showed a lot of promise, and I think she's a star. But WXW have got rid of their women's belt, and everything is
Mhm.
now just available to all genders. How do you feel about that one?
I still don't like it. It's the one thing I don't like about WXW. I try to understand really hard why they did it. Like it's better for the women's wrestlers, of course, because they can mix it up with everyone. The guys are usually more experienced. I try to understand that. But still, if you want to do a 16 carat goal, like the biggest show of the year, you're not going to put a female wrestler in the main event spot, are you? It's going to be a rare occasion. Yeah, it's like it's not against not putting that against WXW, but you gotta sell tickets, right? And it's like it's the unfortunate situation. I would love to see Baby Allison mixing it up with Robert Dreisker in the main event of 16 carat, and I'm sure most of WXW they want to see it too, but they can't do it because it wouldn't like feel like in the big way. They would have to put a lot of effort into this to make this click, and
You need a big
yeah,
name like a Masha Slamovich who
yeah.
really can go, and of course was GCW champion. As I say, that match against Robert Dreisker she had, I thought was laid out so well. I thought she really put in a great performance to return to Killer Kelly. You need someone like Masha, I'm not. Stephanie Mays is very, very good, but Masha's almost like a one in a lifetime type of competitor.
And I mean, Mace only just came back from injury,
Yeah,
so but still, it's just based on numbers and facts. The chances for the women drastically go down, like in the
yeah.
Scott Steiner promo, drastically go down just because of their lower number. And if you have a women's title, they at least got something to fight over. And there were some great women's wrestlers on this weekend that would have benefited of chasing after a title, I believe. But we do not have that anymore. No women on the
Mm,
entire weekend chased after a title, really directly. So it's
yeah.
unfortunate, really. So we will see what happens there in the future. But for now, I kind of wish the title would be back.
Femme Fatale, bring it back. World
Yeah.
Tag Team Festival. I think so. As you mentioned, there were some great women performers who came over from the US, from the UK, that could really boost pro wrestling, the WXW. They've always kind of struggled to have a great women's division recently, and maybe that's the reason they decided to put it to one side. But I look at the UK, and we've got so many great women's wrestlers, and it's not that expensive to get some UK talent on the flights and over to Germany.
I mean, even in Germany, there are more talents that just are not appearing on the WXW product for whatever reason. There could be
Hmm.
like maybe they don't fit the style of WXW or it doesn't work out schedule-wise. You don't know.
Yeah.
But there was a show last year in November, Fury Wrestling, the launch of a new all-women's professional wrestling promotion in Germany, in Stuttgart. And they were able to manage and produce a show with a lot of German and continental European wrestling talent on there.
Hmm.
And you've never seen these people before on WXW, most of them. So I was wondering, why are they not getting a chance at WXW? Like the only person from that show that then got a spot at WXW was Sapphire Reed. She
Yeah.
was able to land a 16 carat weekend spot. But everyone else, like Julia, of course, was on WXW before that, but everyone else, unfortunately, did not get a chance. So I don't know. There are promotions that show us there's more to see in
Hmm.
European wrestling and European women's wrestling, but it hasn't fully reached WXW yet, and you don't really know why.
No. I think yeah, it's Pro Wrestling Nova, and they did it was the Valkyrie Cup,
Yeah,
wasn't
Pro
it?
Wrestling Nova are the ones that are doing all women's wrestling shows, but Fury Wrestling is doing it's just a promotion that only is going to book female wrestlers and
Yeah.
female referees and female ring announcer and everything is female.
That's super. I think the Valkyrie Cup was on
Yeah.
WXW now as
The
well. Do you now
Current
watch it?
Cup was on WXW now, so you see that WXW isn't like straight against it. They are trying to support it where they can, but there's still like something preventing themselves to do more. So it's something we all have to like figure out. But they are really giving the spotlight but via a third party. So they had
Yeah.
Fury Wrestling doing their show on their own, and they were able to work something out together. And Tom Campbell, he was the commentary, he did the commentary for Fury Wrestling actually. So that was quite nice. I was kind of hearing a lot of the process, like getting that on WXW now, and it was like very easy to work with WXW on that case from what I've heard. It was very fun. They were helped a lot. So all positives on that side. So I'm glad that this worked out. And it's basically it's factually in that 999 deal as well. So if you
Yeah.
got done with 16 carat, you can also watch the Valkyrian Cup.
Which we certainly do recommend you do. And of course, Stephanie Mace, she did advance in this match against Icarus. I felt like it was kind of a given that that was going to be the result on the night.
Yeah, because it was International Women's Day. No, I'm just kidding.
I think it's the story with Icarus in Amboss right now, and of course we'll go into more about Amboss and what's going on a little bit later because Lawrence Roman did advance against Oscar. As I say, this was very mismatched type of opponents. Oscar, huge, great wrestler. Lawrence Roman on the smaller size and an amazing wrestler. I do like the fact that he got a big weekend this weekend, and we'll talk about it shortly. But it was a good match.
Oh yeah, it was great. Oscar is such an explosive wrestler. When he came in at Inner Circle, the crowd exploded, and so they did here on the first night of 16 Carat. He has such an energy. He's absolutely amazing. I love him. He came over from New Japan. He's a young lion, and they sent him on his like little excursion or whatever they want to call it. And he's now hopefully staying a little bit longer in WXW because he's such a great wrestler already at his young
Mm.
age. and used to be WXW Academy Cup holder when that was a thing. And now that match against Lawrence Roman was utterly fantastic.
Yeah, because yeah, he's staying part of the excursion. He's staying with Repro UK, but because he's going to be here in the UK, he's going to be regularly available to WXW. It was supposed to be as part of a tag team with Yuto Nakashima, who
Yes.
unfortunately got hurt and had to return to Japan. But we had an amazing tag team with Oscar. We'll talk about that in just a second. The next match was what I believe most fans would say was the match of the night. I'm not saying all fans would, but I definitely saw a large portion of fans that think this was the match of the night. But you're not so big on Mike Delvecchio, are you?
I'm not big on Mike DiVecchio. I'm not big on lucha wrestling in general. But
Mm,
you cannot deny the connection that Mike D and Gringo Loco as well have with the fans. So
yeah.
I enjoyed this match, but I probably didn't enjoy it as much as most of the people in the crowd. Like I wasn't like bored or something or annoyed at it, but I wasn't feeling it that big. It was. But that speaks for 16 Cat as well because you've got something for everyone. And
Mm,
I got the matches we talked about were all amazing to me, and then came a match which was still great, but not amazing to me.
yeah.
That so it's there's something for everyone, and for all the people that love lucha wrestling, or maybe also like people that really do not care about their well-being. Then they watch matches from Mike DiVecchio against Ringo Loco. So they were like astronauts on the moon. Like they just flew through the air and they were doing moves and setups I've never seen before. So it was spectacular, but I got scared sometimes.
I can definitely see why, especially with some of those last few avalanche moves. My God, yeah, but you can definitely see why a lot of fans like this match. I certainly did like this match. I do like Mike D. I think he needs to learn to use his size more than his athleticism. I think he likes to show off how great of an athlete he is all round. Maybe his time in the US will help him when he goes over to Impact Wrestling. But you also fear that he might just turn into another. Oh, what's his name? The guy,
Brian Cage.
yeah, get my shit in. I'm just gonna do whatever I want. I'm just gonna do moves. But Mike D, he's a great athlete. He's got great size. He's got a great look. I think he'll do well in the US, but we'll have to wait and see. Gringo Loco, as you say, what an amazing performer. Somebody who's got a great connection with the German crowd. Obviously, some of the chants over the weekend for Gringo Loco, very appreciative of him. He came over last year for World Tag Team Festival and obviously became a big fan favorite. We then had the break, and the first match back from the mate break was Levanio. Sorry, Rotation defending his shotgun championship against Maggot and Levanio. Levanio came away with the win. What did you thought of the Levanio heel turn?
I'm still heartbroken, of course, as everyone should be. But I find this really interesting. He's calling himself the Sigma now, so
Hmm.
he says he's on his own. This is all him, and he's taking no recommendations. He's taking no criticism at all. The fans were really the ones with their criticism that turned him. What we are doing right now is what turned Levaniel here,
It is.
basically. And he's has a new haircut. He looks people chanted Okada. I would say he looks more like Draco Malfoy, which is a good thing because Draco Malfoy is supposed to be the antagonist, and he works really well in the Harry Potter movies, I believe. And
Yeah.
so, why shouldn't Levani work here? He, of course, isn't a one-to-one copy of Draco Malfoy, but he's picking elements from there. He's a really creative guy in general.
Hmm.
New entrance, also new music. No talking on the microphone
I
anymore.
missed that. He was so
Yeah,
good on the mic.
he's amazing on the microphone. And he is still my favorite wrestler in WXW. He cannot take that away from me. And I'm quite happy that he's now having a belt to show that he's still really, really amazing and he can adapt. And I think everyone that's still skeptical of this run and still skeptical that he already won the championship, and it's not the world championship, it's just in quotation marks, a mid-card title. He will turn these people around, I'm pretty sure.
Hmm. I really enjoyed his run to the championship last year. It was really, really incredible. It was so well built. And yeah, the shotgun rumble was really where he won the first opportunity to get to that title. The whole thing with Norman Harris
Yeah,
continuously screwing him. It was so good, but
unbelievable, yeah.
yeah, not sure why the fans went against it. I really, really enjoyed it. We had the ECW legend Masato Tanaka come out and face Elijah Boone. What did you think of this one?
Oh man. So Masato Tanaka is coming to WXW. That's crazy, right? I believe they tried for over a decade to get him. Finally, it happened. And he came out to that original ECW theme song. That's a rare case in WXW because usually theme songs cannot be played due to YouTube and copyrights and etc. But they worked it out in this case, and it was amazing to see him. But with everything we know now, it's probably a smart thing to say, but just in that moment, I thought this wasn't a Masato Tanaka match. I've seen a match of a regular guy having a good match against Elijah Bloom, who's also really good,
Mm,
but this didn't click for me. And well, we learned later on why. It's because Ilya unfortunately suffered a concussion. Like very early in the match, there was a dive outside the ring and he bumped his head. The doctors and the paramedics checked on him, and he could continue, but he wasn't allowed to perform another match on that weekend, which is very unfortunate because I would have loved to see more people, more eyes to see him perform. And it was also like not a perfect start for Tanaka into the weekend, unfortunately.
absolutely. Ilya Bloom, a product of the WXW Academy, and has quickly risen to become a very, very much fan favorite in WXW. Again, if Progress run something like the Natural Progression series, which they didn't last year, I'd like to see them bring the Natural Progression series back. Somebody like Ilya Bloom would be fantastic for that type of tournament.
Not
Uh,
just that, he's so adaptive, and
mm,
everyone who is like interested in bringing someone new over from Germany, he's really, really advanced already. So if you want to just have a great match on the card, and if you want to have someone that can engage with the crowd, Ilya Bloom is the guy you turn to really. If you want to have someone fresh and new, like he's really going to be someone, I believe. And yeah. Book
yeah,
him.
he's going to be a big star. Then we had one of the marquee matches of the first round, you would say, and that was Dr. Wagner Jr., Pro Wrestling Noah Heavyweight Champion, against young Peter Tahani. I love Tahani, but this match just didn't seem to get out of second gear.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Peter Tihani is the next big thing. We've been saying that for so long now, but he is getting there closer and closer. He's got everything down, it feels like. But yeah, I'm not a big lucha guy, and it showed here that sometimes I'm not alone there because Dr. Warner wasn't really into it. I felt like he
Hmm.
was it wasn't really his night. So I don't know. It wasn't really Peter Tihani was great as always, but I would say it feels like Wagner wasn't all there on that
Hmm.
day. It wasn't my thing. It just didn't click for me really. It wasn't a bad match. It wasn't the worst match on the night of the weekend. Nothing like that. It was still high class professional wrestling. But it just didn't catch me as much as the other matches on the card, really.
Yeah, and then it ended with a bit of a confusing count out.
Yeah, and probably we can
In
guess why.
yeah,
Because of the title. Like you have to
Mm.
protect Dr. Wagner a little bit.
Yeah,
So
because he didn't
that's
come out with his championship, unlike Michael Oku, who did come out with his Rev Pro UK title around his waist. Dr. Wagner Jr. never actually came out with the
Did
title,
he? I believe he had the title around his waist. The
did he?
GHW Heavyweight Championship, I believe it was there. Yes, because we were sitting right next to the ring announcer desk, and I believe the title was on there.
Was it?
Maybe I'm dreaming, but I think it was there.
The first night has just been put back up on WXW in HD, so maybe I'll go double check that. But yeah, for some reason I don't remember him making such a big deal about him being the Pro Wrestling Noah champion over it. Obviously I listened because it was German commentary, and while I can pick up some German words, I haven't spoken German since I was in high school, which was far, far too long ago. I don't want to talk about how long that was. I'm trying to pick it back up, and I've been trying to listen to all the shows in German rather than watching the English version to try and help in some ways to learn a bit more and pick up on some of it. But obviously, I couldn't tell whether they were talking about his run in Noah, but it just, I don't know. As you say, it didn't work as a match. It got Peter Tahani to win, but it didn't feel like a big win. Uh, but we can maybe see part of the reason towards the end, which we'll get there. In
Yeah,
the
but
main,
if you talk about the commentary, we have to mention Matt DeMasi, of course. Big shout out to him. Love that guy. He's
great
great.
job.
He's amazing. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, as I say, I may not always understand the language, but I can always pick up his passion, and that comes through, no doubt, as well as the arrogance of Robon Christopher Forbes.
Oh, and I love him. He's also amazing.
He is, but I love that arrogance. But yeah, main event time. Robin Christopher Forbear was out there with his charge, Joseph Fennick Jr. against Michael Oku. I thought Dr. Wagner and Peter Tahani would main event, but Oku and Fennick showed why they deserved the main event spot, I think.
Yeah, that was a real main event match. Like
Mm,
talking about main event, Michael Oko coming off his Will Ospreay match, which was don't know how many stars, like 500 or something like that. He was amazing there. He was amazing here. And Joseph Fennick Jr. He was able to show that he is a main event player. Like
mm,
he got that in him. We just don't see it that often. And it was a shame that he was out this early, but Michael Oko had to win here. So it
yeah,
was
I think so.
I love Michael Oko. He's so amazing. He's so gifted. He can talk great. He's a great actor inside the ring. He can captivate the crowd. He got all these signature moves. Like that's so rare. That has gotten so rare in the wrestling, especially that people have got signature moves and finishers and stuff like that. Most of the guys I cannot really remember that. For him, it's like he got that where he claps his hands together. Then he got the half Boston Crab, of course, and all of that stuff. Like he's got so many things, and nobody is really doing that anymore.
No.
So kudos to him. People really know his move set, and they love anticipating the next move he does. So he's amazing.
Yeah, I really like next time he's in WXW for them to bring Amira along as well, because she does such an amazing job as his valet in the UK. She even elevates him even more here in the UK. Truly brilliant. I must admit, when we first started this podcast, what was it, 4 years ago now? I called Michael Oku a sports entertainer, and I was a bigger fan of his old tag team partner, Connor Mills, who I thought was a better wrestler overall. But since that time, I've completely eaten my own words. Yes, he is kind of a sports entertainer still, but he is such a phenomenal wrestler. And as you say, connection to the crowd is second to none. His ability, his last minute kickouts, I think he's probably got the best just before free kick out in independent wrestling.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. Yes.
He has a massive weekend this weekend in the UK. He's main eventing three shows. A show in London for Purpose Wrestling at Wimbledon. He's going to take on his old tag team partner Connor Mills. Then on Saturday night, he's in Leicester, where he's going to face a man like Doris for Wrestling Resurgence. Wrestling Resurgence is a really fun promotion, very much a night out. You don't have to follow it every episode. Very creative with what they do. Not quite like a modern pro, right? But they have theatre background and they add that really into all of their shows. So it's a very interesting show. And then on Sunday night, he's going to be main eventing for RevPro UK as they have their first show at the HMV Empire in Coventry, formerly run by Wrestle Carnival, now going to be taken over by RevPro UK for a new venue for them. And he's once again going to be taking on man like Doris, who was at no, he was at the World Tag Team Festival I was at, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
So and somebody again, very fun, very energetic, gets the crowd going. Uh, as I say, I thought the first night was absolutely fantastic. I don't think there were any big surprises. Everybody who I thought was probably going to advanced. Did you think there was any surprises on the night?
First of all, I believe that the shotgun title match is going to main event the evening. I was very convinced with that for some reason. I don't know why. And other than that, I would have expected that maybe Elijah Bloom would get the victory over Tanaka. That
Mm,
would be something I would have expected maybe. But other than that, no, everyone that I expected to win won here.
yeah. Now Saturday it kicked off with the We Love Wrestling wildcard show. What do you make of the wildcard shows? Because it's literally no normal regular WXW performers. A lot of guys from across the world who WXW get to have a good look at up close and personal. What do you make of that type of show?
I love that concept. I mean, we got Thomas Shire from there, so I'm all set and happy. So now the Wheel of Wrestling Wildcard Edition show are a very creative idea because you get so many new names on there that like people can actually apply to be put on that show at WXW. You can, as fans, you can recommend people to WXW for that show. I know one guy who's probably listening to this that sent like 4 pages, and if you sent many, you were getting lucky because most of these people were actually then booked. So,
That's absolutely excellent. Golden Boy Santos returned for the first time for WXW in quite some time. I've always been a bit of a fan of Santos. He has a great look. He's huge. Looks very handsome guy. So I think he's got a bright future. He's been working a lot with OTT in Ireland.
I have to admit, in this particular match, he wasn't that impressive. I felt like he didn't really catch me there. He was the only person that really competed in WXW before that was on this card, and I had quite big expectations because I've seen great matches from him, and I
Yeah.
really like that guy, and I want him to succeed. But in this match, he was kind of like not the main focus.
No, I know you're a big fan of Avatar from Hungary.
Yeah.
I'm a bit wary of gimmicks like that. I'm kind of like you should only use that gimmick if the promotion gives you that type of gimmick, like an Undertaker or a Kane or that type of
Yeah, but I
gimmick.
think there's a story to that, not specifically for him, but in general, like the Hungarian wrestling audience, they kind of want to see characters like that,
Hmm.
and so he was given that gimmick, or he took on that gimmick, and it's working. He's been doing that for at least 4 years in Hungary in HCW and Passion Pro. I was able to talk with him over the weekend as well, and he's people love him there. He was in a team with Eva Kolaski. He was basically her bodyguard.
Yeah.
And that really worked as a dynamic. There were some episodes of HCW Wild, it's a YouTube show on HCW, and he was on there with her, and it worked. So he's a big dude, very big dude.
Mm.
He has a limited moveset, but I think that's by design. And for that, I feel like it really works. Like I've really found him intimidating. I saw him at a WSW Academy event back in the old venue in Essen,
Yeah.
and he was energetic there, and he was like really energetic here. But I really understand that most people do not really cling on and understand and really enjoy that gimmick. So
Yeah.
I understand that. But if you got all that background info from Hungary, you probably will learn to love him.
That's absolutely. I think I first saw him on a Passion Pro show a little while back. Somebody who stood out for me during this was actually somebody came away with a loss, and that was Fancy Ryan Clancy. He seemed to get a good crowd response from his gimmick and his and his wrestling style. So I think we'll probably see a bit more of him. I heard Sapphire Reed was very, very impressive, but the feed cut on the YouTube for some
Oh
reason that
no.
annoying. So I'm definitely going to be watching that back because she was having a really, really good match with Rachel Armstrong. What did you make of Sapphire over the weekend?
Sapphire is amazing. She's not been doing this for many years, but already she's amazing. She's so charismatic. She's so fantastically entertaining in the ring. She feels like she's been doing this forever on the biggest level. Like that's just she makes her entrance and the air in the room changes. Like I believe she's got so much potential and she's a full-time wrestler now. So she's taking bookings everywhere. And hopefully she get these bookings because you want to have Sapphire Reed on your show. If I had a show and I want to have a great wrestling women's wrestling match or great wrestling match in general, I book Sapphire Reed. So that was amazing. And Rachel Armstrong, I didn't really know her, but I heard about her being great in action wrestling, I believe. And so I was looking forward to see her, and she did a great job as well. So these two, it was really the best match on that card, I would say. Yes.
For me, it was the Travis Williams Liam Slater match, but I love technical wrestling, submission wrestling. I mean, it was just if you're a young wrestler wanting to learn wrestling, highly recommend that Travis Williams Liam Slater match and just break everything down because it was beautiful.
I mean, I agree. That was amazing as well. But I was so
Oh,
focused
and the fact that
on
I
that.
didn't get to see the full match for Sapphire, so it's
Yeah.
hard for me to say. Both her and Rachel Armstrong were wrestled back to back for Pro Wrestling Eve the night before as well. They had both, I checked my notes here. They were in action on the Thursday and the Friday night for Pro Wrestling Eve. Uh, yeah, Rachel Armstrong took on Tay Honma and LA Taylor. Sapphire Reed had matches against Nina Samuels for the Pro Wrestling Eve Championship. She came up short. She then had a match against Sue Young on the next day and had a great match as well. Really, really good. She lost that match and has now not going to be able to get back in the title picture after she worked so hard to win it. She lost it to Nina Samuels, and she's not going to be able to get it back, and she's turned heel. So it's been really fun. But the biggest thing for come out Pro Wrestling Eve is Alex Windsor and Charlie Morgan are going to have their match at their next WrestleWomania. I don't have the date on me here, but it's going to be Charlie Morgan versus Alex Windsor in a no DQ, no time limit match, and the loser leaves Pro Wrestling Eve. And when I think of Pro Wrestling Eve, I think of Alex Windsor and I think of Charlie Morgan. So it's going to be a really interesting situation. So something to keep an eye on the UK wrestling scene. Then I know you really love the Ambition shows. show I really enjoy it as well. But tell me about what were your thoughts on this year's Ambition show?
Oh, it was amazing. There were barely any bad matches, really. They were so engaging. Again, like Ambition is this shoot style tournament where everything looks more real. There are they're not really fan integration isn't really happening, and there's no chance really happening as well. And they are really just focusing on the mat. Really, they're not big dives or something like that, and I really like that. The atmosphere gets different there, and it's just like just two guys, two people beating the hell out of each other. It was really intense. The one criticism I have is a tag team match. The first time they ever did this is a Ambition tag team match. Four great guys. The match itself was amazing, but why announce a rule at the beginning that you just don't gonna follow through with in the end? They said there's no 5 seconds referee's discretion when there's a tag. You cannot do tag team moves. When the tag is happening, your partner has to go out immediately. Otherwise, this will result in a disqualification. So the first time all four were in the ring, the referee said, "Oh, I don't care, just do whatever." So
Yeah, it's I can see why. So obviously I didn't quite pick that up on the feed, but yeah, it was a fun tag team match, and Liam Slater got to show a bit more of himself on the scene. So I think he did really well over the weekend for himself. We'll quickly run down. There were four matches, an eight-person tournament. It was Axel Tiska who defeated Jaden Newman, Matt Koski, who defeated Cyborg. Luke Jacobs defeated Jay Joshua. Tom Shire defeated Mochizuki Jr. in the quickest match of the tournament.
that power
Uh,
bomb is very devastating.
I was really looking forward to seeing Mochizuki Jr. because he's going to be here in the UK for 3 months. He's part of Dragon Gate Pro Wrestling, and he's going to be working with Brick King Pro, which is a Midlands-based company here in the UK, and yeah, he's going to do a 3 month stop over at the UK to almost like an excursion type thing for him. So, but then I didn't get to see much of him because yeah, about 1 minute 30, he got the biggest power bomb I have ever seen, and he did not get up from it.
I mean, who would?
No, yeah, very true. I wanted to see more of Jay Joshua. I was a bit gutted that he only got such a limited match against Luke Jacobs, and we didn't get to see him for the rest of the thing because he is somebody I've really grown to love on the UK scene. He's got a proper nationally ranked amateur wrestling background. I think he could have competed in the Olympics at one point, but chose not to. He's also got a some sort of martial art background. I can't remember if it's karate or taekwondo, but he has a lot of legitimate to him, and he kind of reminds me of if you crossed Samoa Joe Killer with Shigehiro Irie, Winnie the Pooh, and squish them together, and you get Jay Joshua. But so I was a bit disappointed I didn't get to see much of him, but a big win for Luke Jacobs. This was big for Axel Tiska. I think he needed this.
Yeah, so of course, at the end, Thomas Shire unfortunately lost for a second time in the final of Ambition. Like this was a second try, and he's now still number two, unfortunately, but he's number one in my heart, of course. But yeah, Axel Tischer needed that. He addressed that in the post-match promo as well because he was like very upset that he wasn't part of the 16 carat tournament. So he needed to win this, and yeah, probably did. And then he made an announcement or a call back or information because the announcement was already made, but everyone forgot in that instant because everyone thought that because Tisha had teased a new way for him in WXW before, everyone thought he was now alluding to him teaming with Timothy Thatcher on night two or night three, whatever. There was Masadura of Fuel Wrestling who shouted at him, "Don't tease us." And he said, "It's not a tease, it's happening already. You already know it's Bloodsport. Me and Tim are getting against each other at Bloodsport, Josh Barnett during WrestleMania weekend. That's amazing." But everyone
Yes.
for maybe 2 minutes thought he was announcing Timothy Thatcher for right now. So that was unfortunate, but he solved it very good because Axel Tischer is really good at working with the crowd and reacting to sudden instances. So he solved that. So the only down point of that was really that Thomas Shire had to lose in order for this to happen, but it was great nonetheless. And Axel Tischer is of course a deserving winner, a two-time Ambition winner now. So that's good as always with him.
Yeah, he, as you say, he needed this not being part of 16 character, and I think it really fits well. And I really like the new tag team, and we'll talk about that shortly. It was also Bobby Guns versus Fast Time Mudo. Very good match. I'm a big fan of Fast Time Mudo, and we'll talk about him in just a second. So finally, we were on to night two, and it kicked off with a Gil Blanc versus Mike D. The crowd loved it. The crowd didn't like the fact that Mike D didn't progress and Gil Blanc did. And it was the first time, as you say, I've heard a few boos for a Gil Blanc. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I mean, I was sitting, I don't know if that came across on the stream, but in the crowd, this was the loudest, longest crowd reaction I've been a part of since that infamous match between Bobby Guns and Ilya Dragunov at World Tag Team Festival, I believe 2019 it was, or 18. It was thunderous in that arena that night. It was absolutely insane. And I was very convinced that Aigle was going to win this. But I got scared because I thought they cannot let Egg LeBron win this year. They're gonna kill him. They need to call an audible and make Mike D the victor. Who cares about the tournament? This is crazy. They are War Machine, War Machine, War Machine, War Machine. We were hearing nothing else. There was nobody in that building on that night who was chanting for Aigle LeBlanc. Maybe myself, but nobody else. It was absolutely insane. I've never seen something like that before because Eglimo is a very popular guy in WXW and outside of WXW. Everyone loves Aigle LeBlanc. And I feel like I was late to the party when Aigle LeBlanc was already a ready-made star. And then for the people to really go behind Mike D and really neglect Aigle LeBlanc, that was insane to me. And I was looking all around and I couldn't believe it, what was happening here. And they really were like crazy for Mike D. There are people that were
Yeah.
mad crazy for him. They really wanted to see him win. The match itself was amazing as well. And then Aigle LeBlanc, rightfully so, I believe, took the victory because I don't believe Mike DiVecchio should get into the semifinals. And luckily he didn't. Also, because I said into a camera at WXW that Aigle LeBlanc is going to win, and I didn't want to look stupid. So that was also a reason.
I had a Gil Blanc, Oku, and Tahani as my three favourites. Outside of that, the next person for me, would have actually been Mike D in like fourth position if I was going to do some type of bet-in odds. I probably would have had Mike D in around fourth, but behind a Gil Blanc, Oku, and Tahani. As you say, really, really good match. We then got Mandas defeating Stephanie Mays. I think that was always kind of going to be a given the size difference between the two competitors. It was a fun match, and I think the crowd did try to get behind Mays as much as they could, despite knowing the fact that she wasn't going to beat Mandas. But overall, it was pretty good. Fun four-way match between Leo Rush, Gringo Loco, Joseph Fennick Jr., and the rotation. Lots of jumps, excitement, just fun, independent wrestling to get the crowd going. What did you make of that match?
I enjoyed that match, but it was like, of course, like Leo Rush winning. I believe like listening to the crowd, either the rotation or Gringo Loco had to win that match if you just listen to that crowd. Another L for the high performers. So I don't know. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
they didn't have a great weekend, did they,
they
overall?
didn't. He's a big star, is Leo Rush. I get that, but uh, all other three people would have been a better winner, I believe. Like, listen to the crowd for rotation. It's not just the this weekend. Rotation has been over with the fans for well over a year now. So they are chanting his name so loud. They love him. He's an amazing performer. He's so much fun to watch. Give him a big 60 carat winner at the weekend, man. So I don't know. I different winner would have been a better match overall, I believe.
Yeah, I really, really like rotation. He had a great match against Leighton Buzzard about a month back, I think it was.
Yeah.
Really, really good match. Great European showcase style. Almost would have fitted in World of Sport with just a few more high flying moves. It was a really great match. We had the tag team title defense, Dennis Doolin and Hector Invictus defeating Rotten Flot and high performer of Anil Malik and Tristan Archer. Rotten Flot are, of course, Michael Schenkenberg and Nikita Charisma. They're a team I'm surprised haven't won the titles given the fan response to them recently.
I mean, they did hold the titles for in short instance, I believe.
Yeah.
Rodan Flot did they? Yeah, but unfortunately, it didn't last long. I mean, but that's the good news. Compared to last year, there are a lot more tag teams in WXW right now. That was
Mm,
like at the end of last year, it was like everyone was having in a political fights. It seems everyone was about to split. That's kinda getting more healthy right now. And then you get these situations where you think like these two should have the belts, but these two should also have the belts. Personally, I'm not that warm anymore with Dominik and Hector. They are fun. They're very fun. They have great chemistry together. But I'm kind of over it now. The short tag team title loss really killed that momentum for me.
mm.
And I thought this is a time where you crown Anil Marek and Tristan Archer as champions, but it did not happen. The match itself was fun. I loved it. It was elimination style, which is always very intriguing because you get a little bit more out of the match. But overall, ah, I would have wished for a title change here.
Yeah, Marek and Archer have got great chemistry considering they had never really teamed before. Every week they just seem to get better.
If the two of them are together, then yes. We
Yeah.
get to get on that later. It's only when the two of them are working together.
Absolutely. We got Lawrence Roman defeating Masato Tanaka, which I think for me was probably one of the biggest shocks during the tournament. A great win for Lawrence Roman. He was showing a lot of respect to Masato Tanaka post match. Excellent match. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked when Lawrence Rowan won that. I mean, like, not shocked that I didn't believe he couldn't do it, but I just thought they had other plans for him that weekend. So I was shocked that he got this far already, that he got in the
Mm.
semifinals. I was very happy for him. He got to beat the legend of the weekend. So like I'm not that old. Not saying people older than me are old, but I was born in 1994, so I only started wrestling in like the mid 2000s. So I wasn't really aware of ECW. But when I did my wrestling nerd research over the years, of course, I discovered Masato Tanaka. I saw the infamous match against Mike Awesome, of course, and he's an absolute legend. I love that guy. He's amazing. But I was shocked when he lost that, and still, it wasn't a Masato Tanaka match. Still, it was still not like I. Of course, he's now a little bit older, a little bit wiser in the ring, but still, I thought, ha, this wasn't Masato Tanaka. Are we still? Because I was people were sitting next to me, didn't know who he was, and I was like, you will see who he is. And then he said, oh yeah, he's a good wrestler, but. You maybe he's probably going to have another match that weekend. It's going to be all right. But yeah, Lawrence Roman, I think we will talk about him later on more.
Yeah.
He was amazing here, and at the end, after the match went down, the right winner.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a gauntlet tag team gauntlet thing to was it to crown a new number one contender or something?
Not officially, but you know how it is. Probably
Yeah.
will be changed later. It wasn't a number one contenders match.
Some interesting combinations here. Anita Vaughn and Oscar, who became the surprise tag team of the tournament. I think everybody loved Anita Vaughn and Oscar when they started teaming up. Yes, can you feel
Can
it?
you feel, I failed it. I have to admit, I failed it. Anita One was in WXW before, but I didn't really feel it. But this weekend, I felt it. I can tell you right now, it's probably because she drank a lot of caffeine and like coffee. She drank. There's a McDonald's right next to Turbine Halle for those that don't
There is.
know. And I've been a regular visitor, and so was she. So we were standing there, and she was getting her coffee, and that's where she's probably getting her energy from. Plus, of course, the amazing crowd reaction, the love that was coming towards her, and there was that one spot where I believe it was only her and Oscar left against Mudo and Tischer, and they were isolating Anita in the ring, and Tischer and Oscar were outside the ring, and then Tischer Irish ripped Oscar into his ring post, and usually wrestlers like they go shoulder first or hand first, something like that. Not Oscar. Oscar went face first right into the post, and you only were hearing that clonk sound going to the arena. It was amazing. Like it was so much fun that match. I loved it. It was very long, and there was some strange combination in there, like Norman Harris and Alex Duke are now the big bucks. That is,
Yeah, we've got two brand new
yeah,
tag teams out of it, the Big Bucks and KXS, which I believe stands for Kicks and Suplexes.
correct.
Fast Time Mudo and Axel Tiska. I'm looking forward to this team. I think Mudo needs this in WXW. I really like Mudo, and I think that he just seems to never get the big moment in WXW. I think he lacks the aggression. Maybe being alongside Axel Tiska, he can become a bit more aggressive.
Let me put it that way. I'm interested to see what happens with Stephanie Mays here because he kind of like
Mm,
they were a tag team and then he's in a different tag team and there was no explanation for that. But knowing WXW, that's on design and there will probably be a backstage vlog of sorts for 16 Carat and then we will probably get more explanations there. And yeah, the crowd unlike you, the crowd isn't really a fan of Fast and Mudo, so this turn seemed to be very necessary. So yeah, kicks and suplexes, the entrance theme and the entrance itself and the gear, not the gear, but the design of the gear. Not I don't and that's not for me really,
mm,
but the message of the team. That I understand that I can get behind. That's interesting. The wrestling itself, it's Axel Tischer and Fastan Mudo. It's going to be great.
yeah.
And that did a great job here. Yeah. One other thing we probably should talk about is the team of Maggot and Aaron Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Aaron Sane, for those that don't know, is like basically a WXW veteran. He's been there
Mm.
before. He's
And the trainer of MAGA, is that right?
trainer of Maggot of Baby Allison and some other people, and he's really good in the ring. He's been doing stuff with he created GHC German Hurricane Wrestling, which is now called Fight Back Pro Wrestling, I believe. In Germany, he's been very influential in the German indie scene since he disappeared from the WXW roster, and he helps people. I believe he can also rent rings from him, so he's renting out wrestling rings, and he's very beloved by everyone in the scene, really. And now he seems to be back in some sort of a full-time role. New gear, new entrance, like different attitude.
Mm.
He's been involved with WWE before in the last couple of months for the Frankfurt shows as well. So because like that's his home base and it worked there. But for me, it's like if if you draw back, I think the most similar person you would take from a different place in wrestling is WWE Santino Marella. If you would bring him back now and would put him in a black suit and say he's more serious now, it might work for a while, but I don't see it working for a long time because that time has passed. And back in the day when I started with WXW, Aaron Insane was that kind of comedy guy who was
Mm.
lost his tag team partner and was trying to put his footing, and then he disappeared. And it does need a long time for me to accept him like in this new role. And I don't believe that for a short amount of time this will work, but I don't see him having like a big 16 carat or like a
No.
big WXW run for a long time. But for now, this moment was great, I have to say.
I think probably might slot into a managerial third person. Two people we'll definitely be talking about very soon.
Hmm.
I thought the team of Luke Jacobs and Yoichi was fun, quite two big lads. And then of course you also had Dr. Wagner Jr. return with his tag team partner Galeno Del Mar. Fun match, just helped fill up some time, I guess, during the show. I still think the fans were into it throughout. Peter Tahani versus Michael Oku has to go down as one of the matches of the tournament because, my God, they put it on. They really did.
Yeah, it was absolutely, absolutely amazing, right? It
Yeah,
was, it was, I, just thinking about it. It's probably one of the matches of, as you said, not just the tournament, but the entire weekend.
yeah,
So it's people should go out of their way and see this. If you don't have too much time on your hands and can only watch a select few of matches, Peter Tehani versus Michael Rowe is the match to go. These two are very similar in their styles, but different as well. Like they are playing with their emotions, their facial expressions. I'm a sucker for that. I love that. The
yeah.
technical wrestling, the
High
moveset
flying.
itself, the high flying, amazing. This this is like a main event match. It didn't have the main event spot, of course, because that belonged to one person only on that night. But but Peter Tihani and Mike Loco. Oh, I want to see it again. I want to see it again.
For a third time because of course they did face each
Yeah.
other in London as well in a really good match. One of my favorite parts is when Peter Tahani came down with the Meteora, but Michael Oku just immediately turned it into the half crab as soon as they hit the floor. It was just flawless and perfect. And yeah, if you're gonna watch a match, go watch that match. Then you had the main event of night two, were the Unified World Championship. Robert Dreisker versus Shigehiro Irie, the rematch. Really solid match. I wouldn't say it was amazing, but it was really good. And they battered each other, and Shigehiro Irie was bleeding all over the place by the end of it. A lot of motion in the match. I think Dreisker is an amazing champion for WXW. I really want to see him and the whole of Amboss come to the UK, especially in Progress Wrestling. I suggested a storyline where Amboss comes in to take offense to Kid Lycos having the Progress World title because their wrestling philosophies are just completely different. And you could have sort of like Dreisker come in and be like, this is a title that was once held by Walter. I can't have Kid Lycos have this title. I want Robert Dreisker and Amboss in the UK. I'm worried that we're never going to get it now. We're going to get there. What did you think of the match, though?
I mean, is a certain pattern to Robert Dreisker matches, main event Robert Dreisker matches at the moment. So if people want to criticize it, I can understand. But I still had fun, especially when you are there live and you see poor Shigehiro Irie being battered and bruised and beaten up by Robert Dreisker all over the place. He was in there was a little corner, like I was sitting at the right next to the desk of the ring announcer of Tommy Geeson's desk, and there was a little corner, like a little hallway, and there was like a little vending door with a emergency escape sign on it. And I've been to Turbinenhalle 1,000 times and never really put focus on this little door. But Robert Deiska apparently did. He grabbed it and smashed it into the head of Shigehiro Irie with such force. It was so loud. And then road was going away. Irie turned around and it was busted open. He was so gushing blood. And on his way back, of course, Robert Draska had to come back, and I was like, "Go, please, don't, no, not in front of me, please, please, go somewhere else, go back in the ring, not in front of me. I don't want to touch that blood. Don't want to be involved, and I'm not in the place where I can step back and make room for you. So please go." So Robert just came back, and unfortunately, only to Irish rip him back to the ring. That was good. But as they progressed going further away, you could see the mixture of spit and blood on the floor everywhere, and it was disgusting, but it was also amazing. There's only one real criticism I have to this match, and that is that 90% of the crowd in there couldn't see what's been going on outside the ring. That was a big issue. Like they had a different setup this year, which was great because mostly the fans wanted this. They were asked before. This was great, but the few things were the visibility wasn't great. Even people on the balcony couldn't see the stuff happening sometimes. So they need to work on that. But other than that, this match was great.
Yeah, as I say, I very much enjoyed the match, and I really like Dreisker as the champion right now. We'll see where things go from here. Of course, the final day of the weekend sees two shows. You have a We Love Wrestling show and the 16 Carat Night free. What did you make of the We Love Wrestling show itself?
Overall, wasn't that great, I have to say. It was kind of boring, I have to say. It wasn't really. Unfortunately, yes, it was. But there were a few things I really enjoyed. For example, Levani was Jacob Crane
Yep.
because it was an official babyface turn of Jacob Crane, and then they had a great match. And also, it wasn't just a babyface turn; it was a goodbye to a man I really enjoyed in WXW ring. Hopefully, just a goodbye for now, and we see him back. He's going to Japan, of course.
Yeah.
I'm getting emotional because we've been through it. I feel like I've seen him grow up in that ring, and now he's flying off to bigger things, and I'm so happy for him. That's the nature of professional indie wrestling. But ah, I'm going to miss that guy, and it was like amazing to see him body slam so many times, and then he
As an
showed the
did
body
it.
slam, and
Yes.
I was like, kudos to you. I love you, man. You are indeed the perfect man. And off you go. Thank you so much. That was amazing. Mark Empire won the Academy Championship, which is well deserved because I've seen that guy a few times at Heat, which is a special 10 euros shows WXW does at the Academy. Sometimes a few Wednesdays in the month, you can go there and just you don't have to buy a ticket. You just drive there, pay your $10, and then you get in. It's pretty good deal because you're
Yeah.
getting a bunch of great matches, and you see Mark Empire rise to the occasion. And he's a great, powerful guy. So I'm really happy for him to be the new champion. And one negative thing we might have to talk about is the eight-man tag team match because that was I don't believe it. I believe it was supposed to be chaotic, but it was too chaotic. Baby Allison was screaming, "I can't work like this." So, and it felt very honest because you were seeing like there were people everywhere. Like, what is going on here? Do the people want to actually pin each other, or what is the plan here? I don't know. And
At
Robert
one
Christopher
point,
were
all eight
going.
were outside the ring. None of them were in the ring at one point. I definitely remember that. It was a very good. So on one side, you had High Performer Limited, which was Joseph Fennick Jr., Anil Marek, Tristan Archer, and Baby Allison. On the other side, you have young Jane Nero, who I've been very impressed with lately, part of WXW. I think she's being trained by Bobby Guns. Is that right?
No, but Tisha, from what I know.
Ah, okay. Liam Slater from the UK was part of this match. He's a head trainer himself now at the Pursuit Pro Wrestling, which is based in Yorkshire, and he does a lot of work with North Wrestling, and that's part of the reason he was out in thing. Tell me about Zeratus because I don't know much about him.
Well, he is from the that's now a word I'm probably not aware of what's the English word for this. He's the knife you can clip out. What are they called? These clip knives. Like, wait a minute. I got one here
Flip
for
knife.
self-protection, of course. Like like these.
Oh
No?
yeah, penknife. Yeah.
Penknife. He's from the penknife district. That's what he's bred from. And, and he's 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 been on like, academy shows, and I believe he was in Bielefeld. He wrestled Baby Allison at one of the last Bielefeld shows, not the very last one, but the one before. And yeah, he's not doing much for me, I have to be honest. Like, it's a crazy gimmick. It's like
Yeah.
mainly like Avatar, but Avatar got that background story from Hungarian wrestling, but Cerritos is from Germany, so he is, I believe he's from Germany. Yeah, he's from Dresden. I don't know. I'm not really a fan of him.
No, and then we also had Fancy Ryan Clancy, who, like I say, I became very much a fan of his shtick going forward. So I would like to see that more. It was the only win for High Performer Limited over the entire weekend.
And
Not
it
high
looked
performance.
90% of them made it look like they were going to lose this one as well. So
Yeah, Robin Christopher Forbes is going to need to get his boys under control, but backfired for him later. I missed the main event. I need to go back and watch this because I woke up late that day, so I was watching the We Love Wrestling show literally before I started watching the live 16 carat, and I had to sacrifice the main event. So I need to go back and watch that. What was that match like?
it was great. I mean, it's Bobby Guns, but he's also one of my favorite wrestlers in WXW. I've been watching him for so long. I miss his tag team partner Michael Knight a lot. They were amazing together. Only Friends
Yeah,
are special. I have to say, really special. And yeah, Mochizuki Jr., he got his time to shine. He was like announced for 16 karat, but not as part of the tournament, but
yeah,
separate. Usually a spot that goes to like a very big name. Like we had in the past, we had who was it from the Motor City Machine Guns? Was it Chris Sabin or was it? It was Alex Shelley. It was Alex Shelley, and but that unfortunately never happened. But they always have this separate person that also is announced for the show. And this year it was Mochizuki Jr. Didn't know him before, but he made a great commercial, great ad for him here. He really stood up against Bobby Guns. Um, but overall, not even that match could have saved that show.
yeah. No, not particularly. Sapphire Reed got a run out during the show against Julia, who I believe is a performer from Holland. Is that right?
Yeah, Julia's up and coming. She unfortunately was injured and couldn't compete in the Valkyrie Cup at Fury Wrestling. But she's an upcoming star in general. You will see a lot from her in the future. And to avoid the confusion, she's not related in any way to the rotation.
But yeah, she's a really fun young wrestler. I'm sure we're going to see more of her in the future. Right, night three of 16 carat. How were you feeling going into night
You
three? Oh, sorry.
we forgot to talk about something very important, really. I haven't mentioned it before, but there was, of course, the Hall of Fame induction of Absolute Andy. I don't know if it was streamed on the live stream, but that was, of course, very special. I will make it quick because it was very emotional. Usually, after that night, you have a party or something, or people go out for a drink or something. Didn't happen that night because it was way too emotional. We got his widow there, Solitaire Ullmann. You got Tommy Gießen there, who was cutting in an incredible speech. You got Bobby Guns there. He had the main event with Absolute Andy, one of the best main events in WWE history at 16 Karat Gold 2019. And Absolute's Andy's wish who's a legend in WXW, won every title there is, was to headline 16 Carat one more time. And that what he's got to do. And there was a promo clip, of course. There were the speeches, of course, and they put the um, boots inside the ring with the spotlight. But the most important thing for me personally, and the thing that touched me the most, was the bit in the promo clip by Carsten Beck, who's also not with us anymore, unfortunately, was having they were trying to have a promo there, a promo fight between Absolute Andy and Carsten Beck. And Absolutely was told it's a YouTube algorithm. You cannot swear. But he was trying his hardest to not swear, and it was amazing. And that clip stayed with me in my heart and my mind for forever. It's like, and them showing that clip really got to me. And people were, when the light went on again, when the spotlight went off and the light went on again, there was not a dry eye in that room. It was an amazing, amazing thing that WWE put together there. Couldn't have done it better. The perfect send-off for one of the all-time greats, not just in WXW, but in all of German wrestling, European wrestling, and as we've seen, even AEW acknowledged them, and in a way, WWE did also. So he was beloved all over the world, and also an influential guy to guys like Gunther and everyone and Walter. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I didn't get to know Absolute Andy that much because somewhat of a new fan to WXW, but you could see the impact that he had. I remember hearing about his passing. It was, yeah, but those type of celebrations, they're always good and nice to have in the ring. And big shout out to Tommy Geeson, as you mentioned. He is fantastic. One of the best ring announcers anywhere in the world. I don't care that I may not understand full German. Tommy Geeson is phenomenal as a ring announcer.
Yeah, he's been there since the very first 16 carat, which is an impressive feat.
That was brilliant. Right. So night three started off with Lawrence Roman taking on Manders, Lawrence Roman picking up the win. Excellent match. Again, surprised by the winner of it. What did you think?
I was surprised by the winner, but I have to say I wasn't surprised that of the loser, because when you see of these four people that were left, like one called Manders, Lawrence Roman, Michael Ogo, not Michael Ogo, Lawrence Roman, and Peter Tihani, and who am I forgetting
Big
here?
Blanc.
Aigle Blanc, of course. These four, I thought they were doing different combinations of these
Yeah.
two. And it was always a given for me that one Cold Maynard was not going to survive this one. The match itself was great, fantastic, loved
Yeah.
it. It really worked better with the lead in, because before that we had a pre-show match of Thomas Shire with Luke Jacobs, which was already very intense, and then we had this match, which was also very intense. So I loved that back-to-back intensity of the matches, and yeah, rightfully so in this instance, because I would have done Lawrence Roman, Aigle Blanc, maybe, and Peter Tihani, one combo, something like that.
Yeah.
This combination at the time felt strange, but yeah, earned victory by Lawrence Roman in this case. And then I was like, oh my God, our little Laurie, he's in the finals. That's amazing.
Yeah, because as soon as we knew the semi-final, so I was like, okay, it's going to be a Gil Blanc versus Peter Tahani in the final. Surely that's a given. And then we got, as you say, Lawrence Roman and Manders, and I'm like, okay, then surely it's going to be Manders versus a Gil Blanc and or Peter Tahani, and they're going to have to overcome Manders in the final. Nope, got that wrong as well. And Lawrence went on to win. And we're going to get into this very shortly. We had Tahani versus a Gil Blanc. Incredible match.
Of course.
What else can you say about those two performers? They are two of the best young talents anywhere in the world right now. They put on such a great match. This is their fourth match and the fourth time Peter Tahani's walked away as the winner.
Yeah, it's like Aigle LeBlanc cannot beat him. I'm not sure if there going to be a storyline in the future. I would hope so.
Yeah.
I would want to watch that match again.
So
As
yeah,
I said before, Aigle LeBlanc, we already talked a lot about him. Peter Tihani as well. Peter is I
he's
I
surely got to
don't
be the first Hungarian to get signed to a major company soon.
that's the one thing, and I don't recall someone ever I've personally seen and followed in indie wrestling making that much of a comedic rise. It's it's absolutely phenomenal, and he gets better every time. Like even in between the weekends, it feels like every single match he got better. I'm so
Yeah.
happy for him. I'm really happy for that guy.
Absolutely. We had a tag team match between Kicks and Suplexes versus Anita Vaughan and Oscar. Obviously, Anita Vaughan and Oscar impressed so much that they brought him back. They brought him back, and really fun match. Good win for K and yeah, KXS. I'm sure they're going to go on to become champions soon. We then finally got the match that you were probably waiting for.
Oh yes, there was a promo that also aired on the Wheel of Wrestling show before that was really great because personally, probably you have the same opinion, maybe not. You would tell me right now. I believe the Nick Schreier spot was previously occupied by someone else. By I believe Ilya Bloom was supposed to get this spot, but unfortunately he went out injured. But man, Nick Schreier stepped up to the game. There was a promo package, as I mentioned before, where Icarus came towards Nick Schreier and said something like, "Oh, you think you can hang with the big boys in the big locker room now?" And the reply of Nick Schreier was, "Yes, okay." And then,
I love the excitement when he thought he was going to team with Icarus, though. He
yeah,
seemed so excited for it.
yeah, he was saying, and then Icarus, "No, I already have a tag team partner. I'm not gonna team with you. You gotta figure that out for yourself." And so Nick Schreier did. And the tag team partner he picked was Masato Tanaka. And the faces of Icarus and Robert Reisker when he came out, priceless. And then Tommy Geeson said, one more thing. This match is now ECW rules. And then, oh my God, they brought it all out. The candlestick, the tables, real tables this time, the road signs, everything was there. And Masato Tanaka even used a fan's beer.
Yeah.
So
And he choked people
amazing.
with t-shirts as well, or jumpers from the fans he was using at one point.
And he had a chair that says that ECW on there.
Yeah.
So
It was a
amazing.
lot of fun, and I know the fans seemed really happy with this. Again, this one got a lot of focus on social media with people going, "Hey, we finally got Tanaka in the real fashion that we deserve to have Tanaka." And this was a great match. And as you say, Schreier, young lad, he's gonna he's I think he'll do well eventually in the future. Quite small, but again, tends to get a lot of the crowd behind him.
Yeah, Nick Schreier he's a former Academy champion. I believe, yeah, he's the
Yes,
first
yeah,
Academy champion as well, I believe, yeah. And he is he's really the next young lad from the academy slash from indie European indie wrestling that's going to break into the next part of the card. So I believe this was really important for him. So like and he really stepped up to the game. Like he was in there with three over experienced super wrestlers.
yeah,
He was like, I can do it. And he did. So amazing.
absolutely. We got Oku versus Leo Rush. This was probably Leo Rush's best match of the weekend
Yeah, absolutely agree because he was
in
in
there
there
with
with
Mike
a really
Logan.
great wrestler.
Yeah,
Mike Loco, we've talked about him plenty. He's he's not the future of the industry, he's the present of the industry. And everyone that hasn't noticed him yet should better watch because he is the guy. And when he says now we play, he isn't lying, he's playing.
yeah. It's very interesting to think where he may actually go at some point because I worry as someone like AEW, he'll get lost because there's so many great talents in AEW. They're already too much overflowing with talent in AEW. WWE, you would worry they wouldn't use him properly because of his size. He could definitely be an Impact World Champion, in my opinion.
Who knows? Maybe, I mean, I know he's more of a sports entertainer, but maybe at least a short stint in New Japan wouldn't do him badly. And then, who knows? WWE is a changed place right now.
Yeah,
They're a different company. They do have a different audience right now. So who knows if there's a place for Mike Loku? Um, I believe he could make it there.
I'd love
But
to see him do it.
selfishly, let's wait a couple more years.
Yeah, give us a couple more because he's put on I know it sounds strange to say because he's still quite a slight lad, but he's actually put on quite a bit of size over the last year, so I'm sure that will continue to happen for Michael Oku, and who knows, as you say, where he may eventually turn up. And then before the main event, we were treated to a wild 8-person tag match. Dr. Wagner Jr., Galeno Del Mar, Gringo Loco, and Yoichi against Dennis Doolan and Hector Invictus, Mike DiVecchio, and Shigehiro Irie. This was just stupid fun.
Yeah, that's what WWE always does as a match before the big main event of a festival. Lucha rules. Get everyone in there, have fun, have a great time. The crowd loves it, the wrestlers love it, the WXW people love it. Everyone loves this, everyone is happy. Hooray, wrestling.
Exactly.
And then there you
Mm.
go.
Then, of course, it's the main event of the evening: Lawrence Roman versus Peter Tahani in the final of 16 carat. I said at kind of again when I said that Peter Tahani, Blanc, or Oku are the traders, and I looked at the matchup and I went, if he gets past Dr. Wagner Jr., he's gonna win surely because I'm guessing Noah wouldn't let him lose to anyone but who's going to win it. So I really went into this thinking it's a foregone conclusion that Peter Tarney was going to win.
Well, there was that moment when he came out and he looked into the crowd. He was standing right in front of the apron and he was looking to the right and to the left, and you looked into his eyes and you felt the weight of this match. You felt that this match is the biggest thing that's happening in European wrestling right now. There's so much to it. You've got, on one side, you have Peter Tihani, who has been the representative of Hungarian wrestling. There are so many people of HCW, Passion Pro in the crowd, in at the staff of WXW, like other wrestlers are from there. Icarus, of course, for example. So many people with the connection to Hungarian wrestling in there in that building right now, coming every festival weekend or every show at WXW, working hard, working great, doing amazing things. And then you got Peter Tihani basically as a face of that. And you got that air that everyone really wants him to win. But on the other side, you got Lawrence Roman, who's been out of wrestling, who's been brought back by Robert Dreisker into the fold, who's been amazing as a tag team champion, as a shotgun champion, and he's been outperforming everyone. And he's been wrestling all these big wrestlers, these stars, these legends, and to for him to even be there was amazing and surprising. So we kind of want to see him go the full way. And then the storytelling in the match with the double turn they did because
Mm.
Peter Tihani was faking an injury, Lawrence Roman was trying to help him, then Robert Dreisker and Icarus came out of ambush, he sent them away. What this was absolutely fantastic,
Yeah.
and it could have gotten either way, and I loved the end result. Peter Tihani is still young. He will get his big victory eventually, but for Lawrence Roman, I'm more than happy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Darnie goes on to say win the next tournament because if you look back now, he went out in the second round, in the semi-final, he's lost in the final. So maybe next year he'll go on to win it, but win it as a heel rather than as a face, depending on how far they want to try and push the heel turn. The crowd really did boo when he refused to handshake at the end. They really did turn against Tahani, which I didn't think would ever happen in WXW.
Yeah, I mean, this just shows how amazing Peter Tihani really is. Like, you gotta, even though, even if you do not like Peter Tihani for some reason or not, you gotta admit this guy is really good. He's
Yeah,
really, really good at everything. It's amazing. It feels like you can give this guy everything and turns it into gold. And in this case, it was like the perfect combination of everyone, and everyone was there to just enjoy this and be there in the moment. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect.
absolutely. He say because even Tani, when he came on our show, he became the most listened, most watched interview ever on our channel. So as you say, everything he touches. Now let's talk about Lawrence Roman winning the tournament. For me, I had him down if I was, as I say, if I was going to do odds, I had him about seventh. So I really didn't think he was going to be here. I really didn't think he was going to win. I look back at everything that's happened at WXW recently, and you can see everything was building to this, and I don't know how I missed it.
I
Because
mean,
WXW do such a good job in their production and the way that they're telling their guys what they're wanting in the ring, what they're wanting to happen. Uh, it's why WXW is my wife's favorite promotion. So we will definitely be coming back at some point. We're hoping for World Tag Team Festival. We'll talk about that in just a minute because there's some great news for that. But Lawrence Roman has been on a journey, as you say, and to see it come full circle, I really don't want Amboss to split, but I'm guessing that's where we're going.
I fear it's going to be happening, but we see what WXW has planned there. I'm excited. They are so good at booking the tournament. They are so good at the production. They are so good at these particular things, and they are so good at setting up things now for the future. You don't know, and we don't know what's going to happen. That's the best thing about it. There's fan speculation.
Yes.
We are not talking about who maybe has a backstage fight with who or whatever, or who's going to WWE or whatever. We are talking about what's the next storyline. Everyone I've talked to is talking about what's next for Lawrence Roman, what's next for Peter Tihani, what's next for Robert Dreisker, what's next for Shigehiro. And that's what wrestling is supposed to be, right? And WXW really did an impressive thing here. And it's amazing. It's like the slogan, "We love wrestling." You might say, this is like everyone loves wrestling. No, they really love wrestling. They show
Yes.
you. They show you. And they did this weekend. And that's amazing.
Yeah, as you say, I cannot wait to see what happens next on with Lawrence Roman with Amboss. Uh, could we even see someone like Peter Tahani join Amboss following this tournament? Could Amboss bring in somebody new? I don't
I,
know.
I
And
could I could see that. I'm so ready to see babyface Lawrence Roman with the big title. Like that's amazing.
but can we see him with the big title? Do you really think he'll dethrone Robert Dreisker?
Do you think he will be one of the few people that is unlucky and is not able to fulfill the dream and is not able to win the championship? Ah, that would hurt. It's, I mean, the last sequence of that match when he went like into Uber Super Saiyajin whatever mode, when he was like busting out every move, and Peter Tihani just had no option just to get counted to three. That he was done after that because Lawrence Rowan like really wrestled like he never wrestled before. And to have this then against a Robert Reisker and Robert Reisker still finding a way to defeat him, well, that would be rough. So I would love to see Lawrence just win the damn thing soon, and we go from there. So it's really an exciting time to be a WXW fan.
One thing we actually forgot to talk about is Robin Forbear thought he was bringing somebody new to High Performer Limited. So this I can't remember what stage this happened during the card, because he was hoping to bring somebody new. It turned out to be Ahura. What a reaction for her! Did you expect him to get such a reaction?
Actually, yes, I have to say, because since he left wrestling because he was having other plans, like he also said in his promo, he opened up a burger shop, very successful. If you look at the Instagram post, it's called like Big Mama's Burgers or something like that in Frankfurt, of course. It's very successful. Like it's and
I'm putting that down for somewhere to visit now.
and he's promised that he not promised, but he teased that he might be able to pull something for the next festival weekend to have a food truck outside,
Ooh.
and that would be nice. So he immediately turned babyface. Just Ron Christopher Foy wasn't seeing it yet, and then he said like blood is something like blood is thicker than water. You hurt my brother, and then boom, the pretty bastards are back together. Our Insane is there as a trainer. And then it's not now Team 069, so basically Team 069 versus High Performer Limited, which was necessary because High Performer Limited, they needed a group to fight against. They didn't have one. They have individuals to fight against, but they never had a group to take on against. So this is now happening, and I think this is going to elevate the high performers. This is going to elevate, of course, Maggots and Ahura. And I think this is great. Maybe this is just a short-term deal where Ahura is just helping Maggot to get out of this. We will see. But I can tell you that much in the time between Ahura leaving and now him being back, there wasn't a day at a wrestling event at WXW where I didn't hear someone say, when is Ahura coming back? So people really miss that guy.
He's such an incredible talent. When the Pretty Bastards split, I thought it was going to be Hura who was going to come out the bigger star, and was surprised by how well Maggot did as a single star, and absolutely deserved it. He did phenomenal. But I always thought it was Hura that was slightly more talented in the ring, with Maggot being more of a personality. I love the fact I want to see them back together. I want them in World Tag Team Festival this year. It's yeah, Ahura and Maga, I think. Bring them back, have them win World Tag Team Festival this year, because that's something I would like to see. Now, the biggest news story to come, well, two big news stories to come out of it is Matt Cardona is going to be which show is it? Sorry.
A Drive of Champions on June 1st.
That's going to be a big show. Who do you think he'll be taking on?
I hope so that he's not teaming, that he's taking on Ilya Bloom. Ilya Bloom versus Matt Cardona would be absolutely amazing. Long Island Ice, the taking on the shooting star from the WXW Academy, the former Shotgun champion. I think that would work quite well, and I would wish for Ilya Bloom to actually have the chance to fight someone with that experience that somehow always finds a way to get over. So do that. That would be amazing. And I do have a second wish because I know you're going to lead into that topic next. Matt Cardona is not always a singles wrestler. He is also a tag team wrestler. And if he's already in WXW, why isn't he coming back to World Tag Team Festival then, teaming with the one and only, the most professional wrestler, his longtime tag team partner, Brian Myers, who is one of my personal absolute favorites inside the ring. So I would love to see the major players at World Tag Team Festival, and I'm going to not get tired of saying this until this happens. And now we are closer than ever from that happening. I've been demanding the major players for World Tag Team Festival for years now, and it seems to be very likely now that this might happen. Just imagine that Matt Cardona isn't winning against Ilya Bloom very cleanly because there's a guy with a cane and a face mask coming in, and oh my God, it's Brian Myers. That would be absolutely amazing. Please, please make it happen. I'm in for that for World Tag Team Festival.
Absolutely. I am going to do my best to be there for this year's World Tag Team Festival. I must admit, when it was first announced this next part, I thought it was each going to be having a show because obviously I didn't get the full details of what Tommy Geeson was saying at the time. But we had it later came out, so it's going to be probably night two, usually when this type of show happens. But it's going to be Progress, Pro Wrestling Noah and Defy Wrestling from Canada doing one show on the Saturday the 5th as part of the World Tag Team Festival. Gonna be big. Is it bigger than GCW last year though? What are your thoughts?
Well, the only thing I can hope for is that it's not happening in the middle of the night. That would be great.
Yeah, the GCWs that ran after the shows, which was
Yeah,
unusual.
it was twice, and it was just too long. The greatest thing about it is included in the festival pass, so you don't have to buy anything extra.
Yeah.
That's good. So I hope this is an afternoon show, and it's not. Oh God, it would be. I don't think I would survive this again. I mean, I'm turning 30 years this year. I cannot do this anymore, guys. Please.
I feel with Progress being behind it, I think it'll be an afternoon show because they'll want
Hopefully.
it for the UK fans more than although obviously you got the five from Canada, but I feel like Progress is slightly bigger of them. So we got Pro Wrestling Noah. I don't know what time it would be in Japan, but I'm sure they would tune in anyway. They usually do. But that any requests for that show? What are you? Who are you hoping to hear? See?
I mean, Pro Wrestling Nora and WXW. I mean, Timothy Thatcher. I mean, you should really do that.
Real. Oh, get real down there with Saxon Huxley, part of the World Tag Team Festival itself. I could see that. I could see that happening actually. So they just had a great run in Pro Wrestling Noah's Tag Festival, didn't they? I
Yeah, they
He
did.
came in the
I mean,
final.
it's amazing. Saxon Huxley, I really, really had him on. If you would have told me 1 year ago or 2 years ago that he's going to be like a big appreciated indie wrestling star in the future, I wouldn't believe you. He was in NXT UK, he was like nothing. And like
Yeah,
now he's like doing really, really well for himself, which is amazing.
he's got that kind of Brody to
Yeah,
him. And I think that's what the
absolutely.
Japanese fans really like about him. He's a crazy wild man, and he matches up with Timothy Thatcher, who's such a crazy wild extreme fighter, kick your ass dude. I love Timothy Thatcher. He's one of my favorites. I'm so disappointed he didn't work out, but I'm glad he's better on the independence because he gets to do it his way. And I really, really big fan of Timothy Thatcher. Of course, another one that we could possibly see, if maybe in the Tag Festival itself, would be a team like CCK with Chris Brooks. Because I know CCK, Chris Brooks, and Kid Lycos are going to be teaming together for a Defy Wrestling show over the WrestleMania weekend. It's going to be Chris Brooks and Kid Lycos versus Moonlight Express, Mao, and Speedball. That match is going to be insane.
I mean, CCK are welcome guests at WXW always. Like Chris Brooks is amazing. So
He's had a long history with WXW, hasn't he, old Chris Brooks, Sheldon Freud, and
yeah,
obviously did the came over with I've forgotten his Japanese tag team partner's name, but he came with CDK,
yeah,
Calamari Drunken Kings. So I would love to see Brooksy back in WXW maybe for
of course, all of us, I believe.
absolutely. Let's see, tag team wise. Oh, I really hope they don't give you the current Progress Tag Team Champions of Charles Crowley and Alexis Falcon, the cheeky little buggers. Very fun and entertaining team, but I don't think they're a World Tag Team Festival team. I'd like to see someone like the Greedy Souls in the World Tag Team Festival.
That would be fun. And obviously, of course, from Germany, the only friends.
Oh,
This should happen, I
get them
believe.
back together. Has Michael Knight re-injured himself then, or
It, From what I've known, Michael Knight is currently not on the WXW roster, and he's not planned to come back, and that is not injury related. And but he did have some indie bookings, but he did cancel them as well. But yeah, so it's unfortunate, but I hope that things are one day going back into motion to bring back Michael Knight into the company from both sides. So I hope that gets solved because Michael Knight is a real great wrestler and he fits in WXW so well. So hopefully, maybe one day, because what I find very cute is that Bobby Gunn still is wearing the OnlyFriends gear. So
Yeah, the zebra pants. What
much
was the
like
whole thing with the zebra? What I could never explain. I'm like, why is there a zebra?
there was, if you ask me for a German explanation, there wasn't one. There was just one day they were wearing zebra gear and there was zebra on the Titantron, and that was it. There was no explanation for this. There was no explanation for anything, but I loved it. It was amazing.
Yeah. A few of the WXW guys are going out for the GCW collective show, GCW versus the World over WrestleMania weekend. I think Robert Dreisker is going to be over there,
Oh
and
yeah.
Lance Roman is going to be out there. Is there any other names that you notice?
Not yet, not yet, but if the card isn't fully announced yet, so I believe there will be like two, three more guys really going to be there. Maybe Peter Tihani is going to get a spot, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'd definitely love to see Peter Tahani on the spot because he had when he faced off against Blake Christian at last year's World Tag Team Festival. I think he really put on a great performance, and like to see him get an opportunity out there. I know Ricky Knight Jr. is going to defend the Atlas Championship for Progress during the weekend at the Progress show. I recommended Jacob Fatu, but I'm now thinking someone like Robert Dreisker again could come in and steal the Atlas, win the Atlas title, and then maybe do something similar to what Walter did and say, "This isn't the title I want the world title." So progress. Book Robert Dreisker. I really like Dreisker. It's really. I had him on our show. He is such a really nice guy, despite his absolute heel persona. He did almost squish me when he speared a Gil Blanc into the chairs at the World Tag Team Festival, and I literally just almost got out of the way just in time. It was a great performance. Now, sticking with Germany, let's talk about German Wrestling Federation and the fact that they're going to be joining up with Rev Pro UK for the Double Impact show. AWXW title is going to be on the line. Which one do you think it'll be?
It's the tag team titles, I'm quite certain.
Simple answer. So give us a bit more background information on GWF. They're based out in Berlin, is that right?
Yes, GWF are the oldest still operating German wrestling promotion. They are formed in 1993, I believe. I always mess that up, but I'm pretty certain it's 1993, not 1995, 1993. And they are, yeah, very, very. Berlin is their territory. Like it's
Yeah.
their home turf. This is where they've always been. Guys like Lucky Kid or Metehan, who or is his name now, are from there. Axel Tischer made his first steps in GWF. So this is the promotion, and where it goes, the second biggest promotion right next to WXW. And of course, if a big show from WWE is coming there, this should be their turn and not
Yeah.
anybody else's turn to host an event there. For them to be teaming with RevPro is for an amazing opportunity for them. And then allowing WXW on there with one match is also very nice of them. So I don't see that critical. I think this is a great combination, and GWF, they are going to step up and it is their time to shine. This is like once in a lifetime. I don't think National Berlin is going to be a regular experience. So this is a once in a lifetime. This is the first ever WWE PLE in Germany ever. So please, if there's one indie promotion in the area, it's GWF. let them show what they can do, and don't because I have international people ask me, why isn't WXW running the show? Because it's not their place. It's
Mm,
GWF's place, and GWF has been working hard for decades. So it's their time to shine. WXW has had their time to shine and will get their time to shine in the future. Now it's GWF's turn. So I'm happy for them. And I'm going to be
absolutely.
there.
What? Yeah, I remember you saying to me about that. Now, I think one of their new franchise guys is Crowchester. I was
Yeah,
very impressed because they did their last show was available on YouTube with English commentary. No, it wasn't. No, it was no English commentary, but really, really good show. I believe Mike Del Vecchio had a match against Yoichi, but the match of the night was Crowchester versus Speedball Mike Bailey. Really, really good match.
yeah. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but that from the sounds of it, it sounds already great. So, yeah. The good thing is about GWF. It's I believe it's one Sunday per month. They stream their show for free live on YouTube, so it's easy to check out. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, they're in action next weekend, 17th of March. It's they've got Maya Matthews is going to be out there. She's a Rev Pro UK. She's grown up in the Portsmouth Academy. What's it called? I can't remember the actual name. It's the wrestling school of Portsmouth, basically. But Maya Matthews, excellent young talent. She's going to be taking on Amy Heartbeat, who was the mixed tag team champion alongside Fast Time Mudo over there.
Correct. That's correct.
You've got Sunshine Machine, of course, very much regulars in the UK. Are the current German Wrestling Federation tag team champions. They're going to be taking on Blutsbruder, which is Bad Bones.
Jones and Cash. He was Cash Money Erkan. Now he is Erkan Sultani. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to be in action. Metahan will be in action against Axel Tisca, which I'm sure is going to be a really good match. And Mike DiVecchio is the current German Wrestling Federation champion. He's taken on a gentleman by the name of Tony Hartin, who I don't recognize.
Tony Harting is a big, big GWF star.
Mm,
He was a GWF Berlin champion
okay.
for a while, and he's like one of the big established names in on the GWF card. Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see these guys involved in the show when RevPro UK go along. As I say, it's two shows, isn't it? They're running.
Yes, on Friday and on Saturday. And that was, I booked my hotel and then they said, oh, we're doing it Friday as well. And then WE came and said, oh, we're doing SmackDown. And then I had to increase my time, my stay at the hotel.
Absolutely can't blame you. It's going to be a fantastic weekend for German wrestling fans. I really love the German wrestling fans. I say it a lot. I probably get a lot of hate from the UK guys that I prefer the German wrestling crowd to the UK wrestling crowd because they are just as excited about the matches, very knowledgeable about all the competitors, and although they may chant a few things, they don't try to overtake the show. And I really, really respect that about the German wrestling fans. And as I say, when I went to World Tag Team Festival, it was still the best weekend shows I've ever been to. It's probably the best live shows I've been to, and so I really do want to get back out there. I had some issues health wise that affected me, which meant I couldn't get out for the last couple of years. But I really hope to do it this year, especially with Progress, Noah, and Defy going along as well. I've kept you on here much, much longer than I expected to, Daniel. So I think we'll probably should wrap up right now. Anything more that you would like to say about WXW and any projects that you've got going at the moment?
I will only say WXW is wrestling home. It's love, it's energy, it's passion. And if you have the chance to check them out on YouTube or even go there live, please do so. If not, please support your local indie promotion. That's also very important. And yeah, if you want to follow me, check on all the social, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, at Valu2go. So WALU number two go, and then you will find everything I got going on. bunch of features coming out for Wrestletalk. Podcasts are coming out. And who knows what else? I cannot share that with you, but if you follow the socials, you will see. So, yeah, hopefully you guys are having a great night, evening, morning, whenever you are listening to this or watching this. And thank you so much, Andy, for having me on, and hope to see you soon.
I've really enjoyed having you on. And as I wrap up every show, you said it yourself, support independent wrestling, support independent wrestling promotion, support the independent wrestlers, support independent podcasts that support independent wrestling. And remember, just don't feed the trolls.